Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for October 13th, 2019, with your host, BaseBear2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi. Also, by the way, in the notes, you do kind of have the dates wrong, I believe.
Ah, fuck, I forgot to go and update the dates. Oops.
Yep.
That's like the one thing I forgot.
Be the December batch.
Most likely. Yeah, we have another batch of Fourze for this week. Our last batch before we get to cover Mega Max. But I guess before we talk about that, how was 01 this week? Since you just watched it.
I swear the show, I don't think can have a bad episode at this point.
Not particularly, no.
Also, why do I feel like Mr. Assassin is a meme?
Probably because he is. Also, he's probably going to be a recurring character.
Oh yeah. Like the way he was built, I'm sure. He will be that recurring character that possibly may follow Chase's path.
I think he's more just going to be a recurring goon.
The way he was described, though, kind of makes me feel like he could be something later down the road, depending on how everyone likes him.
Very true. Although I do like that of course the reoccurring goon is going to have the fucking Dodo Progrise key.
Yeah.
The most famous, not prehistoric, extinct animal.
And, you know, that's also something else that now makes me wonder something. I thought the keys that were used by the Humagears that were converted were kind of just like destroyed. In light of how Mr. Assassin his key kind of could potentially be reused, I'm like,
I don't think they're destroyed. They're just more like hacked and like they're hardwired in.
Well, I mean, in after separation kind of deal. I figured at that point that was just kind of it.
No, like, they're still usable. We've never seen a.
I also feel like the show hasn't really touched on that yet.
No, it has not. But we've seen them keep collecting the sets of Ori's keys every time the monster gets blown up. I'm like, oh, these are reusable somehow, or they're important.
Well,
okay.
The way that it's at least portrayed so far is not so much that they're reusable; it's that they can collect the battle data from them.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning they could craft like a mega key that kind of has multiple different characteristics altogether.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about that, I really hope I didn't just accidentally figure that out before the show tried to tell us.
Well, I'm sure you can accidentally figure out what the fuck Yu was up to, since she's, as I've noticed, on the Kyrie plot path in this series at the moment. Just quietly working in the background, chipping away at trying to figure out the bigger picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I really like this episode. It's really good.
And I'm still digging the whole we're not trying to force any episode to go into 2 parts?
No, like the one time we had a 2-parter, it's more of a 2-parter by circumstance.
And I'm really kind of digging that. I guess it partially is because that's a good in-between, seeing as how we dealt with 2-parters for O's and now double. Or not double. Well, double, but I mean O's and Fourze. I went the wrong direction, and I knew it as soon as the words came out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's nice to not have the 2-parter set up. Although, now that I hint at like Valkyrie dying, I'm like, she still shows up in the fucking second quarter scans, and she's listed as one of the 5 heroes that's going to be encountering Fourze there, so she's not dead yet on that front.
I honestly have to wonder if they would kill her off.
I don't think they will.
Like, at this point, I feel like she's too integrated into the main part of the story.
Yeah.
Granted, to this I'm gonna say, we have had Guy literally go about killing nearly every other rider off. So,
yeah.
It is possible, but highly unlikely.
I think it just depends on where we're going after this year. It's like once we hit next year's batch of episodes, like that's I think going to depend, like determine character routes, because here's the thing, nobody has anything in the second quarter except Fourze's debut, and that's it. Like the second quarter scan is Kamen Rider Fourze, his driver, his weapon, that's it. Like, we have literally passed the point where we would get second quarter scans, and we've got no other updates. And those second quarter scans were early. So, like, there's nothing past Assault Wolf. There's nothing past Shining Hopper, Assault Shining Hopper. There's nothing past Hornet. There's nothing past anything for Jin or Hirobi. They're not getting upgrades right now. Like, there's nothing. So it's just like, what do you mean we have, like, these, like, December form changes, these December major upgrades, and they're just going to be able to stick around because we don't have to sell another goddamn toy, like, immediately into after next year. Or immediately after the start of the year. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Although I will say, if that's the case, like, that gives Soto so much room to go, oh, all of these what-if forms for, like, potential 0-1 forms, we can just do those now. Because, like, what else are we going to do? Besides the 6 different suits we have to do for fucking Geo at this point. Yeah, because they still have to do the movie stuff, Tsukiyomi, and Gates Majesty. They are still on the hook for all of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Gates Majesty is assumed, but like they've confirmed that they're doing all of the movie Geo stuff in Tsukiyomi. Like before 01 started. They're like, yes, we will do these. Yes, they will come out. I'm of the mindset they just do a box set. Here's all of the movie stuff. And just have Tsukiyomi and Gates Majesty be in an AI-01 wave at some point. So I have an excuse to get half a box because I don't want that. Or get none of the wave. I don't know. That just depends. Anywho. Anything else about 01 for the week?
No.
Alright then. Let's get into our Fourze episodes for this week. It's 13 through 16 this week. And they debuted December 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th of 2011. These are our last of 2011 episodes of Fourze and our December batch of episodes. And also, Megamax happens in the middle of here, so don't worry about that. It's not important. Like, the weird thing is the horoscope that shows up for a fight scene in Megamax doesn't even appear in these 4 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Virgo, who you've seen in all of the little images and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so far. Yeah, Virgo shows up, and Leo shows up, actually. I forgot about Leo. He shows up for a quick scene, but both of them don't show up yet in series. They're kind of off in the background because they're kind of background players right now. Although they do both get mentioned in these batch of episodes. But anything else before we get in to our first half?
No.
All right, we kick off with episode 13, School Refusal. We start off by seeing the club making super sure the locker is not going anywhere anytime soon. We're not going to have that happen again. As we literally bolt the locker to the wall. And Toko sets up like 5 million wards, just be like, this goes nowhere. We will scare anyone off before they even come close to the locker. But as they wrap that up, a lot of moms outside essentially charge the school, and they're making a big ruckus over the whole Zodiac monster showing up at school situation. And unfortunately, Usugi and Sonata are not equipped to handle 1,001 upset moms. And it literally is all moms, which is hilarious because this episode of 01 this week had us dealing with a couple of moms being upset and angry at teachers.
Yeah, that is kind of funny that it just happened to be like that.
Yep. But thankfully, the school principal drops by Hayami, aka This is Garen from Blade, who's playing this character. Which is hilarious that he's playing this character when we have Superhero Taisen in like a few months or so, and he doesn't appear in that movie. Like, Garen, you're on the payroll. You're around for like forever in the series. Why did you not get called for the movie? But he calms down the crowd, but he does freak out Tomoko because he makes the same hand motion as the Zodiacs do, or the horoscopes do, which doesn't get brought up again.
Yeah, I feel like that is honestly a troll moment.
Yeah. But after the moms disperse, Gentro says hi to the principal and vows to lead by example and goes to go make friends with people and help out. The principal is not happy about this for reasons we will see.
Yeah. And for reasons that most people would probably be thinking of right now. Even
yeah, it doesn't help.
Those are technically wrong.
It doesn't help that the show kind of lampshades it after a while. Just like, oh, we're going to red herring you that this guy's Scorpion. Oh, look.
Yeah, it is way too blatant, and I'm sorry, it is a case of if you're paying any bit of attention, you could be like, oh yeah, that's no. That is so much kind of that whole, we're gonna make you think it, but no.
Yeah. That's our cold open. Coming out of it, we're back at the hutch. Gentro wants the club to go get the rest of the students who were Zodiarts and help bring them back to school and get them reintegrated back into the school. Which, most of them say no. For obvious reasons. Considering, all of the Zodiarts we've dealt with so far, wanted to murder one of the people that are people in this club at the moment. So, of course, everyone says no.
Yeah.
Except Shun, who kind of agrees to get the one from episode 1 and 2 that wanted to kill him back.
Mainly because he feels like it was kind of his fault and he should help.
Which is hilarious because, like, Miu's one is her fault.
Yeah.
Jake's one is his fault. Weirdly enough, Tomoko's is the only one that's not her fault.
Yeah, very true, actually.
Although she still says no, I'm just like, oh, Tomoko, come on. See, it's not even your fault that she went bad. It was you were more just caught up in the situation. Anyway, the club ends up recruiting the guy's girlfriend to help out. She's from the photography club, and I love how Gentro immediately starts hamming it up for the camera. But she is really down about the whole situation since the guy has not come back to school. He's medically clear now, even though like a few episodes ago we confirmed that like he's not even out of the hospital yet, but now he is. But he still doesn't want to come back. So they end up dropping by his family business, which is a photography studio that's across the street from their house. They try to get him back, but as we see, he is a bit addicted to the Switch, so he's kind of freaked out about trying to go back, so he books it.
Yeah, but you know what's weird? The way they initially do that, I wasn't thinking it was a case of he was addicted to the power kind of deal and that was what he was afraid of. I thought it was more of he was afraid of the Switch itself.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that's like, I feel like that wasn't translated well until everyone knew.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. Someone else might have thought that flowed perfect right there, but it's like, it didn't feel like it.
Sometimes with the notes I shorthand the arcs. Where it's like, oh, you initially think he's scared of it, but no, he's scared of the power because he's kind of addicted to that power now.
Yeah. It's like he's scared of his addiction to the power, not the thing that gives the power, and it's like that's what's weird. Even like the show just failed to fully deliver that.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I think this might be the only time we ever deal with this situation. Weirdly enough.
It might be a case of they wanted to do more like this, but it was too awkward to try to do it.
Well, it's too awkward, and then we have to like bring back those guest actors. We have to get those suits back. Which, like, part of that saves on the budget, part of that doesn't.
Yeah.
And we kind of have to repeat this plot point again, which kind of becomes a case of, okay, we're kind of just treading water instead of trying to move forward.
But, you know, moving forward, what I think would have worked decent, they've introduced this concept to it. What if we had that on the smaller scale and that was what caused it to become two-parters?
Yeah.
And that could even kind of partially tie into the whole evolution, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly feel like they could have done far more with that whole giving them a second shot kind of deal.
Yeah.
But I can also see why they didn't, so it's like, yeah.
I have to think, like, in universe, the explanation is, oh, we tried this once, and the club was immediately on us the entire time, and we kind of almost risked exposing one of our own. Maybe we shouldn't do this again.
Yeah.
We extremely fucked up. Maybe don't do this again. Anyway, after the guy runs for a bit, he runs into Scorpio, who's more than happy to give him another switch and another chance to be Orion. Since this is the guy who became Orion. But Gentaro intervenes, fights Scorpio for a little bit. Actually gets the better hand of him until he summons the Dustards, which you might recognize if you watch Geo as the goons from Shinobi.
Oh god.
Yeah, these were used verbatim in Shinobi. They did not change a single thing about these suits. Which is hilarious.
That looked familiar. That makes sense.
Yeah, it helps that they are already ninjas.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like super distinguishing about them to connect them to Fourze, so here's ninjas.
Wow.
So yeah, here's our goons for the season, which are the Dustards. We don't really get any upgraded versions of them, so prepare to have ninjas for the rest of the season as goons.
Well, I mean, see, that saves on budget.
Yep. Scorpio uses them to escape, and a quick scene with Sonata and Hayami shows that they are close for reasons. We'll get to them.
Yeah.
Back at the hutch, the club regroups, and they plan a fucking play that they just quietly divert this kid into, showing him to try to cheer him up. Which doesn't work, because of course it doesn't. This felt like a dumb idea.
Yeah.
But it does get him to open up more, and this is where we get the proper, like, he's afraid of, like, getting that power again, and such. But he flips out, runs away again. This time he runs into Sonata, who's also around here, conveniently. Almost too conveniently.
Yes, quote-unquote conveniently.
And that slows him down long enough for everyone to catch up, except as the situation is trying to be explained, Dustards show up, and they take the kid, and they run. Which means Gentaro has to give chase. And then he has to fight a whole bunch of goons after he catches up and saves the kid. Thankfully, a combination of switches help, like Hammer, which I believe debuts this episode. Electric has no... What?
I was meaning to bring this up too, and that was a good point to bring it up. What number is Hammer?
I don't know.
I want to say I saw a 24 on it, and then the next episode we see a different switch with 24 on it. I can't swear to that. That's why I wanted to ask.
22.
Okay, maybe I just glanced wrong then.
Yeah, no. Hammer is 22. Water, which is also used in this fight scene, which is a water faucet on Gentro's leg, because fucking course it is 23, and then medical is 24.
Okay.
And then Pen, from the next couple episodes, is 25. We haven't seen 26 onward. Yet.
I probably just glanced wrong then.
I don't blame you. There are too many switches. There are too many switches.
That was one of those. I watched that, and then I see the next one, and I'm like, wait a minute. Did I screw that up, or did they screw that up?
Yes. Too many switches. The numbers on them are pretty small. So if you do glance, you can maybe just go, oh, it's that number, isn't it? Anyway, we take care of the Dustards. But the guy does end up running away again. Or ends up, we see kind of the effects the switch does have on him, because he kind of tries to bathe in the dust left behind by the goons a little bit, because, yeah. But he books it again, and this time when he's alone, Sonata finds him, and we reveal she's Scorpio, because of course she is. We've kind of eliminated everyone who could not be Scorpio at this point, so here's Scorpio. Which takes us to episode 14, the Stinger Onslaught. She transforms into Scorpio, tempts it again with the switch. He gets it in his hand, and it goes last one immediately, which, that's not good. But the group does catch up, and Scorpio decides to leave, saying that she'll be where he got the switch the first time. The guy also ends up leaving as well, kind of giving up and accepting that he'll take the switch. And that's our cold open. Coming out of it, Gamal commands Scorpio on her work, but does tell her to be careful of Fourze, because, you might get your ass handed to you this week. He does decide to toss her a power-up in the form of Supernova. Which, yes, that will be a thing we'll be seeing with the horoscopes a couple of times. Back at the hutch, Gentro's in a bit of a spot trying to figure out what to do with Sonata. Or what to do when and ends up kind of going out trying to find out where Sonata normally where the kid ends up hanging out until Sonata decides, oh, I'm gonna help you, totally not in a costume change to reflect that I am a true bad guy now. Don't you love how she's normally in light colors, but now she's in fucking black?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, we get it. She's a bad guy. Why did she decide to bring out her black clothes for this week? It's a bit suspicious. Anyway, she ends up taking him to a records room to isolate him so that she can turn into Scorpio and sting him with her tail to poison him with what did she call it? A very slow acting, very painful poison. What? Why? Why not a quick one? Sonata, you're too cocky. You're setting up your own downfall here.
I mean, you gotta make it a fair fight, right?
Apparently.
That's why you poison them. When you backstab them.
Backstabbed him through a sign. Mind you, because Getro tries to block the shot with a sign of some sort, and it just goes directly through it. You gotta give him points for trying. Anyway, a quick scene with Hayami and Sonata as they double talk business, because yes, it's double talk. You probably know where this is going, folks. But checking in at the hutch, we follow Yuki into the hutch. The girlfriend drops off, I guess, a book of photos she has to her, and we see that Gentro is slowly dying. Of course he is. The team does figure out a solution, mainly thanks to Tomoko, of more or less, we're going to hotwire the driver so we can use one of the modules when we're not supposed to use it and hope it doesn't kill us trying to save Gentaro. Brilliant plan.
Yep.
I love this is the one and only time in this, or the one time I can think of in this franchise where we literally hotwire the driver. Unfortunately, as they figure out this plan, Gentaro decides, I'm gonna try to save the kid first. you can save me from slowly dying later. As he managed to leave without anyone noticing. He runs into Jake, who's out looking for information, and he drags him to where the kid is to talk him out of it, and also deliver the book with the photos and stuff from his girlfriend to him.
I do want to point out that Jake was actually looking for information to stay away from the problem.
Yeah, well, of course he is.
Not to actually, help.
Look, Jake is like he is both the most helpful and the least connected person of this fucking group. Which, weirdly enough, will be a plot point later. Like, it will extremely become a plot point later. But unfortunately, Jake gets stabbed by Scorpio and also injected with the poison for his trouble. And when Shun shows up to save the two of them from being thrown off the roof, and the Powerdizer also gets dunked and stabbed for his troubles, as we also show off Scorpio's supernova form, which is just here.
Pretty much Scorpio is in you get poisoned, and you get poisoned, and you get poisoned, and you get poisoned mode.
Pretty much. Yeah, the supernova mode is just, here's half of the Scorpio suit on a big giant CGI scorpion body. Yeah, most of the supernova forms are like this.
I kind of figured.
Although one of them is extremely dumb, and I don't mind that it's extremely dumb. Anyway, Scorpio ends up taking the kid to where the Sabbath happened in Wizard. Like the one that happened in series, not the one in flashback.
And the top of the Pandora Tower.
Oh, fuck, it is. Oh, I didn't even think about that. God damn it. It's also that. Fuck.
Because that was the one that immediately came to my mind. Granted, it was the newer of the two, but yeah.
I just remember it as a Sabbath. I didn't even think about it. But yeah, it's just this, like, kind of Stonehenge-looking structures, except it's, like, actually, like, not ancient. I think it's supposed to be artsy in some way. I don't know. It's just a bunch of pillars and stuff. I'm sure it's important. Also, I also remembered it as this because we'll be back in series here later. Like, I wouldn't call this a recurring location in Fourze, but another event also happens here. Which means I think Fourze makes the most use out of this location.
That would make sense.
Anyway, meanwhile, Kingo jerry-rigs the fucking driver and stuff and manages to make it work and damn near kills himself in the process because why didn't you have anyone else do this, Kingo? Also, I know you're doing this again. I remember when you tried this again. I don't know why you decided to try it again. Because Gintaro's in kind of a worse situation that time. And I don't think that can fix it, but okay, sure. Anyway, checking back in with the kid, he ends up refusing the switch because he kind of just wants a normal life now and is kind of found himself in a way, but, you know, Scorpio's like, okay, then fuck you, you're dead now. But Gintaro manages to drop by, saves the day, or makes the save, goes Fourze, gets a couple vials of an antidote out of the medical module and tosses them to Yuki to go save the other two, because I guess they didn't do it before he left.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. Anywho, Gentro ends up battling a bunch of Dust Arts, and Scorpio manages to get the better of him until Scorpio goes supernova and causes some hassles, and also kind of flips the self-destruct button on herself. I would assume on accident. So Gentro's got to take her to space to blow her up. Unfortunately, she's not one kick away from explosion this week, so he needs to do it twice. Weirdly enough, this is also a plot point for later.
Doesn't surprise me either.
It's hilarious, like, how much of this episode is just like, okay, this is reference later, this is reference later, this is reference later, this is reference later. Like, this jamming on the limit break lever twice to do a bigger finisher, like, yeah, that comes back into play, not unlike Double. Just to put it out there. But thankfully, the super rider kick does the trick. Scorpio is done and falls to Earth, and Gentro has to pop a parachute in order to not land in a crater as well. He goes to see who Scorpio is, but Libra decides to fuck with him by making Sonata look like Gentro. Before just taking her and going, you can't know about this just yet, bye.
To be fair, dick move.
Yep. Libra likes fucking with Gentro, as we will find out. Checking back in with Kamen as Libra drops off Sonata. Sonata is demoted, her Scorpio switch is taken away from her. And he leaves Libra, who we find out is Hayame, in charge. Yes, like 2/3 of our, like, administration, or no, 3/4 of our administration are horoscopes. You should not be surprised by this, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, I love how earlier in this episode, like, Amal's just like, they wouldn't expect a teacher to be a Zodiac, and I'm like, honestly, yeah, with you would no, that's the other way around. I mean, how the fuck else are they gonna pull this off? Like, this whole, like, fucking underground switch thing, if it's not being headed up by the administration in some way.
I'm sorry, on top of that, it's been students every time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, someone would have to figure that out at some point, I would think.
It's almost like this entire school was built to shove these switches in the kids' hands in order to turn them into horoscopes. It's almost like that's the plan. And then Gio went and fucked that up by fucking over Fourze's continuity. And then going, oh, that didn't happen. Wait, then who built the school then? Because that's the entire point of the school. Like, literally, that's the entire reason the school got built.
Yeah. From what
Bravo.
From just the little bit we've done of Fourze, I now see the complaint on that part of it too.
Yeah, and I love how that is the episodes that confirm that the villains got rid of, were, like, poofed out of existence too, and it's just like, like, literally, if you do that, you cause so many problems for Fourze and the whole formation of the Kamen Rider Club, because the entire club is formed because of the Zodiarts and because of the school and because of this. So how the fuck do you have the school without the fucking villains? And it gets even worse, because next batch of episodes, we're going to be introduced to the character whose entire reason for being here is the villains. Otherwise, why is he even in this school to start with? Yes, Ryusei is a transfer student. The only reason he transferred to this school is the Zodiarts. Literally.
Wow.
Why is he... Yeah, why is he in a club at a school that was formed to fight monsters if there are no monsters? He's literally from another school. God damn it. Geo does not respect writer continuity at all at times, and it frustrates me to no end. And it's so dumb.
At times.
Okay, a lot of times.
There you go.
It's so dumb
also acceptable most of the time.
Yes. Just like, oh my god, your entire premise shakes on this one thing, and this one thing can't work because you just destroyed the entire continuity of the series. How do you not understand that? How do you not get that you can't do this? Time does not work that way. Granted, I'm not sure you understand how time works that way, Geo. Anywho, it's the next day. Back to the recap. It's the next day. The club is welcoming the kid back to school. He declines membership into the club as he's going to go to the photography club and hang out with his girlfriend. And this is where we get little things about Gentro maybe wanting a girlfriend, and the club is like, that'll never happen. Except, Mega Max. So, stay tuned for that. I don't think they dropped the proper line for it, but yeah. Don't worry, Gentro will get a girlfriend. But yeah, that's it for this episode. So what do you think of our first half?
I wish we could have done a little bit more with the whole fact of, effectively reusing the previous victims, I guess would be the best way of saying it.
Yeah.
But all in all, this honestly kind of works for also the reason why we don't go back to that.
Yeah, because, oh shit, one of our commanders got knocked the fuck out when we literally tried this for the first time. Let's not do this again. It also helps that, we've changed over who's in charge of making Zodiarts, and Libra's like, oh, I've already got a few cooking, so fuck those. I already got better ones lined up than that. But it's a good 2 episodes. It's a nice lead into Mega Max, because you get a little bit of foreshadowing for Mega Max. But nothing super hard, which is surprising. Or not super surprising, to be honest. Double's the only one. Double and Dino, I feel like, are the only ones that, super hard lead into the fact of, hey, you should go watch the movie. Oh, and Guy, well, more often than not, they don't lead in. It's rare if they do. Anyway, anything else?
No, I can't think of anything, actually.
Alright, on to the second half. We kick off with episode 15, Christmas Eve Choir. It is, in fact, almost Christmas! 2 months away for us, but it's almost Christmas in the show, so roll with it, folks. Hayame is talking to Sonata, or decides to take Sonata under his wing and teach her how to properly make Zodiarts because he's kind of an asshole.
I mean, that is the best kind of person to have as a villain, then.
This man in his first scene drives up in a fucking Porsche as a principal of a fucking school. If that doesn't scream asshole, I don't know what does. Meanwhile, Gentro gets chewed out because Rocket and Drill are more or less out of commission for most of these episodes. They've been drained because of the double lever limit break. This is when we see 3 of the boys from the choir drop in and decide to recruit Yuki because they need a female vocalist for their performance for the kindergarten, or for the local kindergarten. Gentro tries to also help, but they're like, "No, we have enough male voices. Please go over there. We just want Yuki." Yuki ends up agreeing and heads out with them, and Gentro is just like, "Aw, I don't get the help. Aw, I'm not used to not being able to help." Fortunately, he does have something to do because the Zodiarch is on rampage in town, so he's got to go off and fight it. That's our cold open. Coming out of it, we see that the sword-wielding Zodiarch, Perseus, is a bit tough and difficult to fight, especially since he has a Medusa hand that turns everything it touches into stone. Welp. But the two fight it out until Perseus ends up leaving, making a comment that will help reveal his identity later. I forget the exact line. It's along the lines of, "Everything needs to be perfect for me to do my work," and so he just leaves. Libra and Sonata, or Hayame and Sonata, are watching this because they're keeping an eye on him. Back at the club, they regroup, try to figure out a better strategy of this, but unfortunately, most of the club is missing since Yuki's with the choir, Jake is planning his party, Miyu and Shun have decided to plan the club party, which just leaves us Tomoko, who's hanging out and patching up Gentro. Gin decides to take it on himself to go look for info, and ends up running into the president of the art club on a roof, who is a bit of an asshole. Because everything needs to be super perfect for him to do his work. So he doesn't appreciate distractions and stuff. Maybe you should invest in some noise-canceling headphones.
That would probably help.
But Gento tries to befriend him. It doesn't work out super well, but he does get to know him a little bit before we hear Yuki singing her satellite Hayabusa song. And he goes to check in with her in the choir, which, okay, I know he keeps saying that Yuki sings terribly, and I think the choir even notes that she doesn't sing that well, but I'm like, no, she sings fine. Although I can tell that you've audio sweetened all of your voices, because there's a very distinct difference between the quality of you talking and you singing.
Yeah.
You can't lie to me, show. I can tell the difference. You sweeten that audio. You may or may not have gotten in some actual vocalists to go sing these songs. As we check in with Yuki, we find out that she's gonna help out the choir only if they get to sing her song, because she wants to spread the love of space, and she will do whatever do it by any means necessary. Which the choir is just like, we don't want to. Fine, we'll roll with it. Unfortunately, the song pisses off the artist. He goes Perseus because, of course, he's Perseus. We're not gonna play around with that one for a while. And he's about to attack them, except Yuki shows up on the rooftop as well and has a quick fight scene with him before it turns out, oh no, that's Leaper in disguise. And he tells him, hey, chill. Don't do it. Don't do it. You want to take out your anger, take it out off campus, where you're away from them, and they have to go to you. So Perseus leaves. Osugi also, in a different scene at the start of the episode, keeps running in the Hayame and Sonata talking business and keeps having the wrong impression of their relationship. Poor guy. His big crush on Sonata is just ripped apart every time. After all this, we end up seeing that the artist is an old friend of one of the choir boys. As they get into a bit of an argument over the kindergarten stuff, I guess just the artist really takes pride in his work and the fact that, like, oh, I impressed the kids better, and the choir guy's like, that's not a big deal. Come on. Getaro's caught in the middle, but before it really goes anywhere, everyone kind of ends up parting ways over the usual stuff. Team manages to finally regroup all together at the hutch to strategize. And this is where Gentaro pretty much pegs the artist as the switcher immediately. I just find it funny that it's just like, oh, from one interaction I can tell that this guy is a bit of a perfectionist. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, that makes sense. But after he figures this out, he's like, oh, fuck, Yuki's in trouble. Oh, shit, I gotta go save her real quick. And while Yuki's practicing alone, Perseus tries to attack her. And he almost gets her. She does try to do a bit of an El Kabong on him with a guitar, and nope.
Nope, because it turns into a stone guitar.
Yeah. And yes, folks, I am probably one of 5 people who will ever reference El Kabong. I think the only reference I can make for someone smashing someone over the head with a guitar is Jeff Jarrett. And OSW has that covered for me, so I might as well reference that other one. Anywho, well, Yuki's just running for her life. They do manage to catch up to Perseus and kind of try to talk him down, but it doesn't really work, and his switch ends up going last one. So he's in his last one state. The fight is pretty even until Gentaro kind of manages to get the advantage with fire states and manages to blow up the Perseus Zodiac body, which then immediately reforms. And the stars on it start glowing. Which, thanks to Hayame, who's nearby to give us exposition, means that he's suppressing the last one state and is getting very close to becoming a horoscope. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed.
Unfortunately, the power, this whole reformation does give him the power up to shoot fucking stone lasers, so now he can just turn things to laser at a distance. And we kind of end with Gentaro getting one of his hands turned to stone. So, yeah, we're on the back foot already. That takes us to episode 16, Right and Wrong Conflict. After Perseus freezes Gentaro's hands, he has a few words with the group before he just runs away, leaving his human body behind for them, because he's grown past being a human and he doesn't care about those kindergarten kids anymore. Says you. We see him find a nice little spot out in the woods to paint, except he's being watched by a mysterious writer who is totally not called Meteor. And who, if you were watching this in proper order, would have totally not met already in Megamax. Spoilers. The epilogue of Megamax has Meteor's first, not only first appearance, but also his first fight scene. So you are perfectly familiar with Meteor by the time you hit this episode in order. Because also, Megamax debuted like one day before this episode premiered. Anyway, that's our cold open. Coming out of it, we're back at the Rabbit Hutch, regrouping. Since we're on the clock now, because if the guy stays too separated from his body for long, he may not be able to return to it. Oh boy. Yugi ends up heading off to take care of the kindergarten event, since, I mean, might as well. No reason to cancel that while we got nothing else to do. We got a new switch to test out that might be helpful. Pin! Which gives Gentaro a giant brush on his leg. Because why would you put a pin on your leg? It turns out to be a bit of a dud. I do like how Gentaro writes this one off, even though he was perfectly like, Magic Hand is useful. Or no, not Magic Hand. Hopping's useful. This one, no. Probably doesn't help that it's reminding him of when he was in fucking detention.
Probably not, actually.
But he ends up giving the switch back to Kingo and heads out to settle this without violence. Bravo for Gentaro to at least try the non-violent approach. He ends up finding Perseus out in the woods and challenges him to an art contest. So Gentaro's going to try to draw with one hand, since, his other hand is stone. Hopefully he's right-handed. We check in with Yuki real quick as she's kind of rallying the choir because they're all a bit down in the dumps because the guy who's a friend, one of the choir guys who's a friend of his, saw the whole fight from the end of the episode, so he's in the know about the whole situation. And also, I believe his body is just held up in the choir room because we have nowhere else to put it. Checking back in with Gentaro, he draws a very bad Mount Fuji, because that's what the guy was drawing, was Mount Fuji. So, he loses, except Perseus can't destroy it, because, spoilers, it reminds him of the kid's paintings.
Even though he couldn't remember why.
Yeah.
Like, why did we have to hide that?
I don't know.
It was like, that just felt odd.
Yeah. Anywho, Libra drops by as Fourze to battle Gentaro and to fuck with him once more. I love how he does the Uchukata as well, but does it just so bored.
Yeah.
I honestly love that, like, Gentaro's Uchukatas so powerful, so boisterous, that they reach, like, through the solar system into other galaxies. But everyone else who does it is just, like, bored or like, I ain't fucking doing this. Looking at you, Takatora, with your, I'm gonna halfway do this before I'm like, nah, this isn't, no. This is too silly even for me.
Granted, I feel like they tend to make the characters that really shouldn't be the ones to do it, and that makes it even better.
Yeah. I do also love that there is a slight running theme with Gentaro's Uchukata pose, where he kind of also almost knocks people out with it.
Yeah.
Because he did it to Shun this week. By the way, when Go Busters finally starts up, I'm sure there will be a superhero time segment spliced into the start of one of these episodes. You will see him almost take out Meteor with it. It's the best. I have a gif of it. I'm sure he also does it in show, too, at some point. Anywho, Gentro is pretty much mopped, or just destroyed by Libra, as he is no match for him at the point. Knocks him out of his transformation, and Libra tells Perseus, freeze him permanently, please. Please get rid of this nuisance, and Perseus hesitantly does it. And this is the two end up heading out to go attack the choir. I assume the choir and not the kids. It would be kind of fucked up if they went after the kids.
I think he's only told to go after the choir, but yeah.
Yep. The team does find Gentro frozen, except we get a quick shot to show that it may not be as fully. Checking in with Perseus, we do see him seeing the kids having fun with Yuki's song, and it's like, that song's not very good, but the kids like it. Damn it, those kids have pictures, have paintings that are trying to, mimic my painting, but they're not as good. But they're still having fun, because they're fucking 5-year-old kids. What do you expect? It's like, wow, I'm taking this far too seriously. Maybe I need to chill. Which I think is his ultimate lesson, is that he needs to fucking chill.
I think it's either that, or it's a case of perfection isn't truly perfect unless you put yourself into it, kind of deal.
Yeah. Anyway, this is when Gentro and the others arrive, showing that he's completely unfrozen, since Perseus was hesitant and the freeze didn't last long.
Although, for this I'm gonna say, couldn't technically his hands still be kind of, stuck?
It unfreezed everything, so...
So plot convenience?
Yeah. Look, we can't do this whole fucking hand in a stone cast for an entire fight scene. We can only ask the suit actor to hold their hand still so long. But yeah, he manages to talk him down, and Perseus seems like he's gonna be okay. Until Libra drops by and is like, well, if you're not gonna do it the easy way, zap! Just go, I'm gonna do it the hard way. Go kill them, and just whammies Perseus into attacking them. So Gentro has to fight Perseus and Libra, who also joins the fight, and it's a 2-on-1, and he's getting his ass handed to him until Meteor arrives on his bike with a meteor effect on him. Don't worry, that's also important. We'll get to it in 2 weeks. Meteor ends up taking on Libra while Gentro takes on Perseus. Tomoko and Jake arrive at this point. There was a scene earlier where they were investigating the stuff he wrote with the pen when they were testing it, and they found out, oh, these are metal plates now. Oh, the pen makes anything solid that it draws. Maybe you should use that. But Gentro uses it to essentially just freeze the Medusa hand so he can properly beat Perseus, which he does. Pretty quick fight on that front. Meanwhile, Meteor, aka Kamen Rider Bruce Lee, he's literally Bruce Lee.
Yeah, and I thought
every sense of the word.
I thought you might have been stretching that a bit.
No. mannerisms and sound effects and everything. He is Bruce Lee incarnate.
That was one of those that I saw that and I was like, oh my god, he is Kamen Rider Bruce Lee.
He even does the 5-inch like heart punch in the series. Anywho, Kamen Rider Bruce Lee beats up Libra and ends the fight by punching him with Jupiter. Yes, you heard me right. He literally punches him with a planet that he summons out of his little wrist thingy. After taking Jupiter to the chest, Libra leaves because he's going to call it for the holidays. Meteor also heads out without a word because we don't get to deal with his identity till the next set of episodes. And we close out with the team celebrating at the hutch. Holidays are here. It's happy because we have fun times to come. Oh boy. So that's it for these 2 episodes. How'd you feel about these pair?
I gotta say, it is kind of nice to see the story progression in terms of the like villain side of things.
Yeah.
It's not just an arbitrary thing, it's a case of we see what the villains are actually trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and you probably know the thing we're going to blaze through in the latter half of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a couple horoscopes between now and that last part, but yeah, they burn through several of those horoscopes in a row. Because, yeah, we forgot to keep our episode count in mind.
Oops.
Yeah, it's a nice little 2 episodes. I like Meteor's introduction. I like his introduction to Megamax more because you get more of his character and not all of his Bruce Lee mannerisms.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Like, you get to know a little bit more about, like, for reference, his name's Ryusei. You get to know a little bit more about Ryusei in his, like, epilogue introduction. But yeah, it's still a pretty good 2 episodes. I like that we see that Libra is pretty effective at this already, as he almost gets them a horoscope off the bat in one shot. Which is funny considering where he goes later in the series. But yeah, anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Alright then. 1 second, I actually need a drink. So, next week, we are also on a holiday break of sorts, as we'll not be picking up with the proper next set of episodes of Fourze, because we have a crossover movie to cover. We have, in my opinion, the best crossover movie in this franchise. I think the only one that comes close is Full Throttle.
Yeah.
And I say that because while Full Throttle's like 3 portions are all strong, the drive portion isn't well integrated in the overall story. Whereas every portion of this movie is a part of the main plot of this movie. All 5 acts, and yes, there are 5 parts to this movie. 2 of them are pretty short. But all 5 parts play into this movie, play into the overall story of the movie. And all of them are really strong. So, Next week, we are covering Kamen Rider and Kamen Rider, or Kamen Rider Cross Kamen Rider, O's in Fourze, Movie Tyson Megamax. And in 2 weeks, we'll pick up with technically the aftermath of these movies. Technically not. We'll pick up with the next episodes of Fourze. So, anything else?
I can't think of anything, actually.
All right. That'll do it for Tommy and me. Peace. If you like what you're seeing, drop us a follow. We really appreciate it. We are chipping away at that 200 follower mark, which we'll do the goals for, which are some Halo custom campaigns and All Rider Revolution. But if we hit affiliate, we'll do them as well. So either mark will get us to it. If you want updates when we go live, there's the Twitter at TG Saloon. We also have a Discord, ! Discord. You can drop in there, have a chat with us. There's also a chat to drop questions, and we'll answer those questions on which of the 2 relevant podcasts it applies to. Essentially, if it's a game question, we'll probably answer it on TGS. If it's more of a toku, like movie, television sort of thing, we'll answer it on here. So, we'll see you next week, folks.